families of the victims in Manchester, the Coptic community in Egypt, that of course had a terrible attack, and we just heard of another attack in Afghanistan as well. As we discussed throughout this G7, we stand in solidarity against acts of terror and in support of communities affected by it. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure to speak with you all as we wrap up another successful G7 summit, this time in beautiful Taormina, Italy. I'd like to first thank Prime Minister Gentiloni for being such a gracious host. I'll really have to pull out all the stops in 2018 to live up to his fine example. J'aimerais d'abord faire quelques observations avant de prendre vos questions. Tout d'abord, ce sommet est un bon rappel de l'important travail qu'effectue cette organisation. Nous reconnaissons tous que les partenariats entre les pays sont fondamentaux si nous voulons promouvoir la paix et créer de la prospérité pour tous nos citoyens. Je peux affirmer avec confiance que le G7 est fort et uni à la sortie de ce sommet. We've had some excellent discussions over the past few days on issues of security, energy, climate change, and economic growth that benefits the middle class and those working hard to join it. We talked about global anxieties around inequality and the very real worry that with a rapidly changing economy, folks are at risk of getting left behind. On this, I echoed my previous statements, calling on governments to work with their citizens to develop real and lasting solutions together. We agreed on the importance of free, fair, and balanced trade around the world. We renewed our determination to fight terrorism in all forms, including Daesh, and we reaffirmed our commitment on non-proliferation and disarmament, including in North Korea. As a group, we share the belief that gender equality is crucial to the success of any society. Our communities grow and prosper when the rights of women and girls are fully recognized. That means, among other things, making sure women and girls can contribute to their economies. They need access to skilled jobs, financial support for their businesses, and markets for their products. In order to empower women and girls around the world, we, the G7, are proud to adopt the first G7 roadmap for a gender-responsive economic environment, to be continued as Canada hosts the G7 in 2018. Et sur ce point, je suis heureux de profiter de cette occasion pour annoncer l'emplacement du sommet de l'an prochain. Nos partenaires du G7 se joindront à nous dans Charlevoix, au Québec, pour discuter des enjeux les plus importants auxquels nos pays font face. Je suis certain que mes homologues tomberont amoureux de cette région, tout comme les Canadiens le sont depuis des générations. Encore une fois, je tiens à remercier le Premier ministre Gentiloni de nous accueillir ici à Taormina et pour ce sommet réussi basé sur le partenariat et la collaboration. Pour terminer, je veux vous donner un aperçu de l'endroit où aura lieu le G7 l'an prochain. Mesdames et messieurs, Charlevoix. Merci beaucoup. Je suis prêt à prendre vos questions maintenant.
Start with Josh Wingrove from Bloomberg News.
Hi, Prime Minister. Thank you for taking our questions. I want to ask you a little bit about the dynamic around the table these last few days. You spent quite a bit of time with the particular, have you learned anything? And do you think he's changed at all since taking office, and what that happened in the last few days would support them?
I think one of the great things about the G7 is it's an opportunity for countries that are close allies and partners in so many ways around the world to come together and have frank and open discussions about how we can work together to improve the lots of our citizens, our communities, of our economy, and indeed promote our values around the world. This was an opportunity for us to discuss things that matter to us, and as always, we had great frank discussions, and I was always pleased to stand up for Canadian values and promote our interests throughout the discussions we had. Une des choses magnifiques du G7, c'est une opportunité pour des alliés de se rassembler pour discuter de façon franche et ouverte de nos priorités, de nos valeurs partagées, de nos préoccupations dans le monde. C'est vraiment unique comme sommet dans cette dynamique-là, et j'ai été très content de pouvoir avoir des échanges sur les priorités des Canadiens, nos valeurs et évidemment nos préoccupations pour les moments à venir.
Can you, in particular, talk about the language on trade and protectionism? What role, if any, did Canada play in bringing a conclusion on that? And was President Trump, resistant to that language in particular?
Canada knows as well as and better than many other places how important trade is to create opportunities, to create jobs, to grow the economy. But we all recognize that growing the economy needs to happen in a way that benefits everyone. That's why the emphasis on inclusive growth that we've had here in the G7, but that we've seen throughout summits over the past year and a half that I've been in this position, continues. We all around the table got elected on commitments to support the middle class, to work hard for our communities, for our citizens, to create opportunities in a changing world. And we know that creating growth through trade in ways that benefits all our citizens is a priority we share. The approach that we need to strike fair, free, open, balanced trade is something we all shared around the table.
Joanna Smith with the Canadian Press.
We were told when you had a short pull-aside with President Trump today that you talked about reaffirming commitment to the deep economic relationship between Canada and the United States. I'd like to know, what did the President say specifically on NAFTA to either reassure you or give you any cause for concerns?
We agreed that there is no relationship between any two countries in the world quite as close and as integrated as Canada and the United States. We share a very similar approach on a broad range of issues, and our citizens are interconnected and interrelated in ways that are cultural, economic, people to people, and will continue. There's always opportunities to do more on trade, always opportunities to improve trade deals, and that's very much what we're focused on. But we certainly agreed that the benefits of this relationship over time and into the future in creating good jobs, in creating economic growth on both sides of the border needs to be focused on and maintained.
Est-ce que monsieur, oui, en français, s'il vous plaît, est-ce qu'il vous a donné des assurances? Excusez, je vous laisse répondre, monsieur.
On a eu une très bonne conversation sur l'importance des relations entre le Canada et les États-Unis qui sont uniques au monde. L'intégration de nos économies, les bons emplois des deux côtés de la frontière qui sont créés, qui ont été créés au fil des décennies entre nos deux pays est quelque chose à valoriser et à protéger. Et évidemment, l'ALENA a été amélioré une douzaine de fois au fil des 2 dernières décennies. Alors, il y a toujours des matières à travailler ensemble pour encore améliorer les opportunités pour nos économies, nos communautés, nos travailleurs, mais on est tout à fait d'accord là-dessus.
And just to follow up, and again in English and en français, s'il vous plaît, all those things were said by both of you, and they were all true before President Trump started the 90-day countdown to renegotiating NAFTA. So what, again, specifically today, did you talk about that tells us anything we didn't know already about that trade agreement and its future?
we have been consistent from the very beginning that the deep trade relationship between Canada and the United States is one that we should focus on building on and indeed enhancing, because millions of good jobs on both sides of the border depend on the smooth and safe flow of goods, services and people back and forth across our border. That is something that we both recognize and both respect, and we look forward to working together to further deepen and amplify the economic success of citizens on both sides of the border.
Shirley Engel with Global News.
Good afternoon, Prime Minister. The Italians chose Taormina because they wanted to highlight the migrant crisis. And just the other day, dozens more perished off the Libyan coast, many of them toddlers. Aid groups say the G7 failed to address this crisis, that you looked at this through the lens of terrorism rather than humanitarian, and that basically it was a PR move. Do you agree with that assertion? Can you give us some insight about the discussion at the table and any specific measures Canada will be taking?
We had an excellent series of conversations on migration around the G7 table, directly where we highlighted the responsibility we have to work together to improve the opportunities of people around the world, particularly in the session, which was an outreach with African leadership. We talked about the challenges of drought, of terrorism, of economic opportunities lacking for young people in Africa as one of the things that we had to address as a global community to ensure that people had opportunities everywhere, wherever they are in the world, so that they're not driven to desperate measures to try and improve their lot, their future, their families. This is an issue that we've taken very, very seriously during these discussions, and one to which we know there are no easy solutions, but our commitment to work together responsibly and with real global leadership was evident throughout our discussions.
En français, s'il vous plaît.
L'enjeu des défis migratoires a certainement été abordé à plusieurs reprises pendant ces rencontres. Évidemment, entre nous, où j'ai souligné le rôle que le Canada a joué et notre perspective très positive sur l'immigration comme source de croissance économique et d'opportunités pour nos communautés ainsi que pour le monde, mais aussi avec les conversations avec les leaders africains. On a parlé de la responsabilité de la communauté internationale de diminuer ce sentiment de besoin que trop de jeunes ont à travers le monde, de devoir quitter leur maison, leur patrie, pour essayer d'avoir des opportunités économiques, pour essayer de pouvoir bâtir un avenir. Nous nous devons d'investir comme communauté internationale dans les opportunités économiques, dans la sécurité alimentaire, dans la lutte contre le terrorisme, dans l'innovation et les investissements qui vont permettre à des jeunes en particulier d'envisager un avenir chez eux et non prendre des risques horribles pour essayer d'avoir une vie meilleure.
There was a caveat in the communique to reaffirm state sovereignty and protect national interests and security. That's kind of a given in North America and doesn't really apply to Europe where borders are so fluid. Can you talk about the discussion at the table that necessitated that extra caveat, and was it necessary?
I think we always need to reassure citizens that openness to immigration goes hand in hand with security of our communities in our country. I think that's something that everyone understands. Certainly in Canada, we've been able to demonstrate that openness to immigration, to refugees, has been a tremendous benefit to our country, has created strength and richness in our communities, and opportunities for Canadians and new Canadians to succeed. That is something that we respect and recognize, something we defend very strongly in Canada, while at the same time recognizing the rights of different countries to approach their challenges in a range of ways.
Monsieur Trudeau, je vous laisse prendre votre verre d'eau. Vous avez dit au tout début que c'est un G7 fort et uni. Comment pouvez-vous dire que c'est un G7 fort et uni Alors que vous sortez de ce sommet sans avoir M. Trump à bord sur un sujet crucial, un enjeu crucial qui est le climat, on lit le communiqué final, on a l'impression qu'on a maquillé carrément les divergences, et même Mme Merkel, en bout de ligne, a du mal à cacher sa frustration.
Ben, comme j'ai dit plusieurs fois et comme je continue de répéter, je respecte le droit de leaders de différents pays de faire leur propre choix en matière de politique. Il n'y a pas personne qui va me dire au Canada comment je dois gouverner, c'est les Canadiens qui déterminent. Nos politiques vont être faites au Canada et je m'attends à ce que les autres sentent de même. Mais on n'a rien maquillé, on a dit très très clairement qu'on reconnaît que les États-Unis sont encore en réflexion par rapport à leur approche à l'accord de Paris, mais je peux vous assurer que M. Trump était en mode, le président Trump est en mode écoute à ce moment-là, et on a tous illustré et démontré à quel point nous trouvons que c'est important de se rassembler dans la lutte contre les changements climatiques. J'ai souligné ce que je souligne toujours au Canada, qu'on ne peut pas bâtir une économie forte sans s'occuper de l'environnement en même temps. Les Canadiens savent bien ça. Nous savons que d'investir en innovation, en efficacité énergétique, en nouvelles technologies vertes, ça fait partie de comment on va créer des bons emplois pour les années à venir. Je sais que tout le monde a bien écouté autour de la table, incluant le président.
Alors, en anglais, s'il vous plaît, M. Trudeau.
The fact is, we all recognize around the table that each of us has the responsibility for setting the policy and approach that each of our countries have. I'm not going to lecture another country on what they should do, nor will I have my positions determined by anyone outside of Canada. We listened to each other, we engaged robustly, and it is explicitly written in the communique that we respect President Trump's choice to reflect further on their engagements around climate change and the Paris Accords. But what I made very, very clear is something that I make clear all the time to Canadians and that we understand deeply, is that you cannot build a strong economic future for your citizens, for your country, unless you are at the same time protecting and mindful of the environment. The way to build good jobs for the future, a competitive workforce, competitive industries, is going to be by innovating, leading on reducing our carbon emissions, on creating new technologies and cleaner sources of energy. We know that's the way the world is going, and I know that everyone, including Mr. Trump, listened to that very carefully around the table.
Certains diront qu'on hérite en ce moment de la pire dynamique depuis plusieurs années au niveau du G7. Comment allez-vous composer avec ça alors que vous apprêtez justement à prendre cette présidence? Expliquez-nous comment vous allez vous y prendre pour arriver à ramener tout le monde un peu à bord.
Justement, ce que je dis, c'est que nous sommes d'accord sur bien des choses et nos valeurs, nos approches diffèrent des fois légèrement, mais en matière de livrer pour nos citoyens, de bâtir un avenir plus fort, d'être concentré sur de la croissance inclusive pour donner des opportunités à tous nos citoyens de réussir, de défendre la cause de la femme, d'être responsable par rapport à la sécurité de nos citoyens, et le besoin d'innover et de regarder les nouvelles technologies, nous sommes tous d'accord. Les approches vont différer, mais c'est sûr que des approches vont toujours différer d'un pays à un autre. Et notre capacité, justement, d'avoir un forum dans lequel on peut parler franchement, ouvertement, parler de choses difficiles, monter des arguments les uns contre les autres, essayer de convaincre pour avoir un leadership continu au niveau du G7 comme on l'a à travers le monde, c'est justement la valeur du G7. Alors, je suis très content de cette rencontre qu'on a eue.
So what are you going to do in the next, en anglais, s'il vous plaît?
I think one of the things that is very clear from this G7 is that the utility of having a forum in which we can speak strongly and frankly about the things that we agree on, which are tremendously important, and highlight arguments on where we disagree to try and bring people along on various issues, is exactly what the G7 is why the G7 is so valuable. This is an opportunity for us who have a tremendous influence on the global economy, the global community, to talk about common challenges and shared opportunities and work together in real and concrete ways to create opportunities for our citizens. That is what the G7 is all about, and that's what I'm looking forward to working on with all the members of the G7 in the coming years.
David Cochrane with CBC News.
Hi, Prime Minister. If you can answer this in French and in English, please. I wanted to follow up on the climate change issue, the fracture there. This really seems to devolve into the G6 plus Donald Trump. So with the risk of the world's biggest economy potentially scaling back its Paris commitments or pulling out of it altogether, isn't the failure to reach consensus, isn't that a failure of the G7?
I think the fact that we recognize how important it is, certainly the fact that Canada recognizes how important it is to move forward on both growing the economy and protecting the environment at the same time, is something that resonated around the table. Now, obviously, any new administration or any new government is going to have its own approach or its own priorities. And I think the value of the G7 is that we do get to have honest and robust exchanges and talk about where we're going and how we're going to get there together. And I know that this G7 was extraordinarily useful for exactly that. I believe that we are always stronger when we have frank and open discussions, and that's exactly what we were able to have. I certainly continued to highlight what we in Canada know to be true and are going to be building on these opportunities with like-minded allies in the coming years.
In French, please.
La valeur du G7, c'est de pouvoir justement avoir des occasions d'avoir des échanges robustes et franches sur des enjeux d'importance pour nos citoyens, pour le monde. C'est exactement ce qu'on a fait, c'est exactement ce qu'on va continuer à faire avec nos partenaires et alliés. Et je peux vous assurer que le Canada va continuer de comprendre que de bâtir une économie forte et un environnement protégé en même temps, c'est une opportunité pour nous et c'est justement une opportunité pour le monde.
So, Prime Minister, even with this much shorter communique from last year, you managed to dump a lot of caveats into the trade section. So the point that every country could essentially go home and interpret it to their own benefit. So with this communique out, with NAFTA on the table, do you believe that after this meeting that your definition of free trade, fair trade, and protectionism is the same as Donald Trump's?
As I said, I look forward to working with the American president and his administration on deepening the opportunities and the trade ties between our two countries. We know that economic growth happens through trade, and we know that we need to focus on making sure that that growth is inclusive, that it benefits the middle class and those working hard to join it, that it creates opportunities for small businesses, for investors on both sides of the border. This is our focus, and that's exactly where we are very much like-minded and are going to continue to be as we look at ways to deepen and strengthen the extraordinary trade relationship between Canada and the United States.
Bob Fife with the Globe and Mail.
Can you say that in French first?
Comme j'ai toujours dit, nous savons que la croissance économique vient de meilleurs échanges commerciaux dans le monde. Nous devons nous concentrer sur le fait que cette croissance doit être inclusive, doit créer des opportunités pour les petites et moyennes entreprises, les travailleurs, les investisseurs des deux côtés de la frontière. Créer de la croissance économique qui fonctionne pour tout le monde au pays est un but partagé par le président américain et moi-même. Nous allons travailler ensemble pour créer plus d'opportunités économiques pour nos citoyens. C'est exactement ce sur quoi on se rejoint et on va continuer de travailler.
Prime Minister, the summit did not succeed in moving Mr. Trump on climate change, on migration, and for that matter, really on trade. But the White House office said at a briefing earlier that the president thought it went unbelievably well and that he appreciated all the frank discussions he had with fellow leaders. I'd like to get a sense from you, sir, what's the dynamic like working with Mr. Trump, and is there any sort of personal exchanges that you could tell us about how you interacted with the president?
Actually, as I said, I think the summit went very well. I think we had an opportunity to talk about issues that matter to each of our countries and our citizens. We got an opportunity to have a robust and strong exchange of views, as we should, as countries that have a tremendous impact on how the world unfolds. This is an opportunity for us to come together and think about how we're going to better serve our citizens in the coming year. How we're going to create opportunities around the world for greater stability, greater prosperity, greater opportunity. And on that basis, there was a tremendous amount of good work done around the G7 table, particularly hearing from African leaders on their perspective on what we can do to help them continue to grow and succeed while facing very real challenges. The exchanges were always frank and positive. I highlighted repeatedly how important it was for us to build an economy that protects the environment at the same time, and it was something that was very well received around the table by all members.
And French, sir.
Okay. Comme j'ai dit plusieurs fois, je trouve que ça a été une bonne rencontre qui nous a permis d'avoir des échanges robustes sur des enjeux qui sont importants pour nos citoyens. On s'est aligné sur beaucoup d'enjeux. On a eu des discussions importantes sur d'autres enjeux sur lesquels les différentes perspectives ont été matière à réflexion. Et je sais que le travail que nous faisons autour de la table du G7 demeure un outil important pour bâtir un monde avec plus d'opportunités et plus de prospérité pour tous.
Prime Minister, with all due respect, I'm going to try to move you off your talking points and come back to NAFTA, which you never really answered the question. Can you tell us what you talked to the President about NAFTA and any other issues that you raised with him during that short time that you had an opportunity to speak with him? Can you give us some specific details so we can tell Canadians?
We talked again about how the positive relationship between Canada and the United States is one that we have to enhance and strengthen for the benefits of both of our citizens. We ensure that we talked about a broad range of issues, as happens every time I sit down with the President. We talked about softwood lumber. We talked about aerospace industry. We talked about steel and aluminum and the importance and integration of our economies on so many different levels. And we agreed that we need to continue to keep working together constructively to amplify the success that citizens and communities have on both sides of our border. Comme toujours, fallait juste poser la bonne question, Robert. Comme toujours, nous avons parlé de l'importance des liens entre le Canada et les États-Unis, de l'importance de la croissance économique partagée et l'importance de travailler ensemble pour justement amplifier cette réussite qui est unique en termes de dynamique entre deux pays dans le monde. Comme à chaque fois que j'ai eu des échanges avec le président américain, j'ai parlé du bois d'œuvre, évidemment, et de l'importance de continuer de travailler vers un accord. On a parlé de l'acier et de l'aluminium, on a parlé de l'aéronautique, on parle de bien des enjeux sur lesquels on va pouvoir travailler ensemble pour créer des emplois, des opportunités, de la croissance économique qui va bénéficier à nos travailleurs et à nos communautés.
Final question from Der Spiegel.
Thank you. Mr. Prime Minister, G7 is a very European format. In addition to the 7 state leaders, there are always 2 EU leaders at the table. Do you think that maybe G20 is better suited for discussing the really global issues and finding good solutions?
Oh, I think the perspectives and the alignment of values that we have around the G7 table is extraordinarily valuable as a way to speak frankly and openly with friends, colleagues, and allies on issues that matter deeply to our citizens. As leading democracies in the world with tremendous economic weight in terms of the path we're taking, the opportunities we create for our citizens, the G7 is a unique and valuable opportunity for countries that have a significant impact on the way the world unfolds, the rules-based order, the international trade regimes, the priorities that the international community sets forward. This is a great opportunity to come together as like-minded countries and set a path for what we're going to work on together for the benefit of our citizens and the world.
En français, s'il vous plaît.
Bien sûr. Il apprend vite, hein, l'allemand. Le G7 demeure une institution unique et importante, une occasion pour des pays alliés, amis, collègues, de parler des enjeux qui leur préoccupent de façon franche et ouverte. Nous sommes des démocraties avec des économies qui ont une grande influence sur le monde. Nos valeurs, nos préoccupations, ça nous permet de travailler ensemble, justement, pour mettre à l'avant-plan nos priorités sur la scène internationale, que ce soit des enjeux qui affectent nos citoyens ou des citoyens de la planète. C'est très important d'avoir un endroit comme un forum comme le G7 où nous pouvons travailler ensemble avec des gens avec qui on est d'habitude très en accord.
Mr. Prime Minister, the next G20 summit will be in July in Germany. What are your hopes and expectations?
I very much look forward to returning to Hamburg, to discussing issues that matter very much both to Chancellor Merkel, to myself, and to the world. Issues of inclusive economic growth, issues of rule of law and democracy, issues of opportunity for women, and emphasizing the importance for gender equality in the world. This is the G20 is an opportunity to bring together very disparate countries, very disparate perspectives, and talk about the kinds of things we need to do and look for how we can work together for the benefit of the entire world. It's a very different kind of forum than the intimacy of the G7, but it's one that is extremely valuable, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Merci tout le monde.